Do you see the look on my face, ladies and gentlemen? This is what the Miami Dolphins do to me. And I'm just going to take a few moments to go ahead and drink my sorrows away before we start this post game podcast. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Oh. Oh, Jesus, dude. First and foremost, um, excuse me. Just first and foremost, just want to share my thoughts and prayers to Tua Tagovailoa, the human being, his family, his friends. Um, this certainly isn't easy. This is now the fourth concussion that he's had in 2 years. And as a human being myself, life is too valuable. Life is you only get one chance at life. And there's things in life that are more valuable than playing football. And I just want to see Tua healthy. Like, he's 25 years old, okay? Think about 40 years from now. How he's going to be if he keeps playing with all these concussions that he's had in his career. Um, this is a hard conversation to have. This is certainly the last thing I thought I'd be talking about tonight. But here we are. Um, I've I hope for the best for Tua, and whatever the man decides to do, whether it's hang the cleats up or come back later in the season, um, I 1000% support him on his decision. But we have to look at this as a human being perspective. And maybe the best thing to do is retire. And this sucks because not only does this end the season for the Miami Dolphins more than likely, but now you're going to have every sports outlet talking about this all weekend long, going into next week, going into the following week. Um, this is going to be a never-ending saga, and it's going to be uncomfortable conversations that people are going to have about Tua, and it's going to be uncomfortable conversations that I'm sure Tua is going to have with his family, and it's going to be uncomfortable conversations that Tua is going to have with his teammates. But this is certainly the last thing I thought I'd be talking about tonight. I don't even care about the division. The Bills are our daddy. There's no denying that. The Bills own us. Josh Allen owns us. I'm no longer hating on the Bills, even though I hate them. I'm not hating them on the rest of the season. because they are going to run away with this division. Um, yeah, I don't care about our division anymore. I don't care about playoffs. I don't care about the 2024 season. I just care about Tua Tagovailoa and his health. That's all I literally care about right now. And my thoughts are with him and his family and whatever he decides to do next in his life. I 1000% support him and his decision. But now we have to talk about this game. And everybody in the Miami Dolphins organization, outside of Devon Achane, should really be ashamed of themselves. Again, you let this team come in to our house and bully us the way they did is unacceptable. 31-10. I never saw this coming. I would have thought maybe tonight it was at worst going to be a competitive game. This wasn't even close. From the moment Grant DeBose, which I don't even know why he's on the active roster, he's a practice squad player. The moment Grant DeBose didn't look at the football when it was thrown by Tua and it was deflected for an interception, the Bills ran away with this game from that moment forward. The Bills scored all their points, ladies and gentlemen. Most of their points, their touchdowns, were scored on turnovers by the Miami Dolphins. Interception by Tua led to a touchdown. Interception by Tua again led to a touchdown. Turnover on downs, which was basically a turnover, led to a touchdown. And then the horrendous pass that Tua threw, trying to get the ball out of bounds, touchdown. Everybody in this organization, outside of Devon Achane, needs to look at themselves in the mirror and wake the fuck up. Even though the season's over, we still have games to play. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even gonna shit talk on the Buffalo Bills. This is all Miami Dolphins. We think of what we did this offseason. Okay? We gave Tyreek Hill a raise. We extended Tua, paying him $53 million a year. We signed Mike McDaniel, head coach, through 2028. We extended Jalen Waddle 4 more years. 3 years, I think. $28 million per year. Jalen Ramsey, 3 years. $24 million per year. So we've had all this investment in these players and this team for 3 years now. And ladies and gentlemen, I love the Dolphins so much, but I hate saying this, man. Our ceiling is a wild card. From here on out, that's our ceiling. And it sucks when you have star players like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Ramsey, that's your ceiling. The ceiling is a wild card berth. I don't even want to get into the whole quarterback thing, because whether Tua comes back or not, Miami is going to be working out a lot of quarterbacks in the next week, I feel like. Skylar Thompson is just not a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. He's not. And I cannot watch 16 games of Skylar Thompson this season. I can't do it, man. This is tonight. And I don't know why I get myself so worked up for these games against Buffalo. Like, I was so excited for this game. I was so pumped. I wore Dolphins gear to work today. I wore my new Aqua shoes. People coming up to me complimenting about my shoes. And I'm so pumped for this game. I'm listening to all these pregame shows, and game time comes, and boom. That's what the Dolphins do. The Dolphins snatched my heart out of my soul, man. It's an abusive relationship. It's a toxic relationship. Being a Miami Dolphins fan is like being in a toxic relationship. And I've dealt with that too. So, I know how it is on both ends. But this is your post-game recap podcast. The Buffalo Bills beat the Miami Dolphins 31-10. We are going to try our best to break down this game. Wow. I'm depressed. You know what sucks too? Is the fact that in 2 weeks, I'm going to be flying down to Miami to go see the Dolphins, and I'm not even going to get to see Tua play. I'm going to be flying all the way to Miami just to see Will Levis beat the Miami Dolphins again. Do you know how depressing that is? 2 years in a row, I get to fly down to Miami and watch the Tennessee Titans beat the Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium. That's depressing. That is extremely depressing, man. That sucks. So, we're going to talk about this game as much as possible, as best as possible. Let's go over some stats. Josh Allen really didn't have to do much tonight. He was 13 for 19, 139 yards, and 1 touchdown. James Cook, 11 carries, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ray Davis, 9 carries for 29 yards. Khalil Shakir, 5 catches for 54 yards. Dalton Kincaid, 4 catches for 33 yards. Ty Johnson, 1 catch for 33 yards. And James Cook, 1 catch for 17 yards. The Buffalo defense had 2 interceptions, 2 of them by Jamarcus Ingram, 1 by Christian Benford. DeMar Hamlin led the team in tackles with 8, and the Buffalo Bills got 2 sacks on the night against the Miami Dolphins. But Chris Greer said that, the only people that are worried about the offensive line is the fans, and him and McDaniel laugh and chuckle about it. And guess what? Teron Armstead is hurt again. And you know what that means? With Tua Tagovailoa hurt, Teron Armstead is going to have no inspiration to play the next upcoming games, because when this happened in 2022, when Tua didn't play, Armstead didn't play. The only time Armstead didn't play for a quarterback that wasn't Tua Tagovailoa was the playoff game against Buffalo in 2023. That was it. So now you're not going to see him for a while as well. Dolphin stats. Tua Tagovailoa, 17 for 25, 145 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Before the concussion, this was one of the worst games he played of his career. but we're not even going to get into that. Skylar Thompson, 8 for 14 with 80 yards. Devon Achane, only guy who showed up tonight, 22 carries for 96 yards. He also had 7 catches for 69 yards and a touchdown. Jonnu Smith had 6 catches for 53 yards. Jalen Waddle had 4 catches for 41 yards. Tyreek Hill had 3 catches for 24 yards. Both guys sat on the bench the entire fourth quarter, and I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot more of that in the future. And the Dolphins, David Long Jr. Led the team in tackles with 9, and the Dolphins defense had 0 sacks. So the Buffalo Bills absolutely won in the trenches on the offensive side and the defensive side, dominated the Miami Dolphins. So let's get through this shit as fast as possible. Dolphins begin the game with the football. They go 6 plays for 9 yards. 3rd and 1. Tua hands it off to Alec Ingold up the middle for 3 yards and a first down. We get to 3rd and 13. And Tua throws the ball to Grant DeBose, who wasn't looking. It deflects off his shoulder pad, and it pops up in the air for an interception down to the Miami 37. Buffalo starts their drive at the Miami 37. Josh Allen to Dalton Kincaid for 9 yards. James Cook for 4 yards. 3rd and 2. Ty Johnson gets tackled in the back by David Long Jr. We get to 4th and 3. And for some reason, Anthony Weaver decides to play man. So he has David Long Jr. on James Cook. David Long gets stuck in traffic. James Cook literally walks in for a touchdown. 7-0 Bills. Next series for the Dolphins, they go 7 plays, 70 yards in 6.5 minutes. Tua, first play to Jonnu Smith on a pitch pass for 15 yards. Tua to Tyreek Hill for 10 yards. A false start was called on Julian Hill. 1st and 15, Devon Achane gets a 14-yard run. He then picks up 8. 2nd and 10 at the Buffalo 24. Tua to Jeff Wilson for 6. On 3rd and 4, Tua to Jalen Waddle for 17 yards. And then 2nd and goal, Tua throws a swing pass to Devon Achane. Cam Lewis slips, and Achane picks up the touchdown. Then on the next series, Buffalo goes 3 and out. The Dolphins, they go 3 plays, 13 yards. Tyreek Hill on an end around for 12 yards. Then on the next play, Tua overthrows Robbie Chosen, and it's intercepted to Christian Benford, and it's taken to the Miami 44-yard line. And one thing that I forgot to mention in the open was Buffalo. They were dealing with a lot of injuries tonight. Obviously, they don't have Matt Milano. Taron Johnson did not play today, dealing with a forearm issue. And Terrell Bernard hurt his shoulder in the first quarter. So they were playing with backups, and they were totally fine. So injuries are not an excuse for the Miami Dolphins. The Bills go 7 plays, 19 yards. 3rd and 5, Josh Allen to Khalil Shakir for 11 yards. 1st and 10, James Cook runs for 3 yards. We get to 3rd and 7. Jordan Brooks made a nice play on Curtis Samuel, 2nd down. On 3rd and 7, Josh Allen, incomplete, leads to a Tyler Bass 43-yard field goal. The Miami Dolphins go 3 and out, and the Bills have their best drive on offense for the night. They go 8 plays, 85 yards. They start at their own 15-yard line. 2nd and 11, Josh Allen to Khalil Shakir for 21 yards. And Jordan Poyer gets called for unnecessary roughness for 15 yards. So that was a pickup of 36 yards. With the play to Shakir and the penalty on Poyer, the Bills picked up 36 yards on that play. Ray Davis for 8 yards up the middle. Ray Davis for 10 yards. Second and 16, Khalil Shakir for 4 yards. And then when this play happened, I'm like, it's not our night. It's just not our night. Josh Allen rolls right. He's got pressure on his face. Jalen Ramsey is covering Ty Johnson. And Ty Johnson comes up with the catch for 33 yards. He gets it down to the Miami 1-yard line. And James Cook scores a 1-yard touchdown. And at that point, I thought the game was over. And then for real right here, in these next two possessions, this game was over. Miami goes turnover on downs, which Mike McDaniel is not having a good year as a head coach. His play calling last week against Jacksonville was trash. Javon Holland bailed him out when he forced a fumble on Travis Etienne. He bailed out the Dolphins last week. He won them the game. Mike McDaniel did not coach a good game against Jacksonville, and he did not coach a good game tonight against the Buffalo Bills. It was really bad. Really bad night for Coach McDaniel. It's the first half. It's the first half. Fourth down. Punt the ball. Make Buffalo go up make Buffalo have a long drive again. Punt the ball. He does not make sense. McDaniel does not make sense. And Tua gets sacked. Ed Oliver, he bulldozed Robert Jones all night. He bulldozed Lester Cotton all night. And guess what, folks? This offensive line is just going to get worse. Because I guarantee you, Teron Armstead will not play next week versus Seattle. And he will not play against the Tennessee Titans. So we are looking at a backup left tackle with Kendall Lamb. And for sure, a backup quarterback, Skylar Thompson, who is not a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. And the game was over right here. One play, 49 yards, James Cook, touchdown. That was the game. That was the game right there. And this, I was really confused about. Miami is down 17 points. They had no urgency to score and somewhat get back in this game if they can make a stop on defense. They took up the entire rest of the second half just to get a field goal. Just to get a field goal. I don't know the play calling McDaniel was doing. McDaniel, in that situation, was coaching scared. And it felt like, to me, that he was scared to put his defense back on the field. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like that Mike McDaniel was scared to put his defense back on the field, so he wanted to take up the entire half, play slow ball, and just get away with points. They got a field goal, but, geez, 13 plays for a field goal. An odd possession. Odd possession. So, it's 24-10 at halftime, and Buffalo, they punt in 5 plays. Miami, they go 5 plays, 19 yards, and Tua Tagovailoa makes the worst play that I've ever seen him make since I've watched him play football. He's got pressure coming in his face. He tries to throw the football up for grabs, and it's intercepted. He doesn't get it out of bounds, and it's intercepted, and it's returned for a touchdown. 31-10. Then they're driving down the field, and on fourth down, he runs up the middle. He runs headfirst into Damar Hamlin. He's laying on his shoulder. His arm is up like this, and he gets a concussion. They said 6 minutes after being in the back and being evaluated, he got a concussion, and he was out for the game. More than likely, he's going on IR, so that means you are out for a minimum of 4 games. That means he's not going to be playing against Seattle, Tennessee, New England, and Indianapolis. He's probably not going to be playing those 4 games, and at that point, I don't see them beating Seattle next week. I don't see them beating the Titans now. Titans got a low-key underrated defense and offense. Maybe they'll get lucky and beat the Patriots, and I don't see them beating the Colts. So, if Tua does not decide to retire, and he wants to still play the rest of the season out, the Dolphins are going to be 2-4 by the time Tua comes back, and at that point, the season's over. At that point right there, the season's over. So, there's no need to rush Tua back. There's no need. And we said it in the season preview that if, God forbid, Tua Tagovailoa went down with an injury, the season was over. And now he went down. He's got another concussion. 4 concussions in 2 years. It's week 2. And the season's over. The season's over. Week 2, the season's over. I'm not even going over the rest of this game because it's just punt, turnover on downs for the Dolphins, missed field goal by Buffalo, turnover on downs for the Dolphins, end of the game. It's fucking depressing, man. It is depressing what this team puts me through. And, you know, I talk to people at work. We talk sports. Some people I talk sports with. But it's funny, man, because I say I'm a Dolphins fan. It's like, man, you know, they're like the Golden State Warriors when like the stacked team. And it's like, are you really a Dolphins fan? Are you a Dolphins fan now because they got good? No, you motherfucker. I've been a Dolphins fan my entire life. I've lived through the misery of this team. I've been a fan since I was 6 fucking years old. Or 7. I don't even know. But you know how much misery this team has put me through in my life? It's insane. Insane. The amount of misery I've gone through with this Dolphins team in my life. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Okay. I'm just going to wrap this up early. And we are going to look at some post-game notes. Yeah, my energy for the rest of the season is done. With this concussion to Tua, I mean, sweet Jesus. I don't care about the season. And because I love my team so much, I don't even know why I love them anymore, but I will love them forever. I'm still going to watch every game. I'm still going to talk about them on here every week. It's just going to be really hard. Let's see if we have some post-game notes here. According to Barry Jackson, Amazon Streamcast, Tua is conscious, awake, alert, and has full movement in extremities. He's with his family in the locker room. So, there is that. Let's just look at Barry Jackson. Besides, Tua with the concussion, Teron Armstead suffered a shoulder injury. Jeff Wilson suffered an oblique injury. Robert Jones, a shoulder injury. Yeah, this team is banged up again. Again, man. I don't see much. I don't know, man. I'm out. I'm torn apart. I'm heartbroken. I 15 more games of this shit. 15 more games. I'm out. Peace. Fins up.